Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and we're here at the finish line of the 2016 the North Face Endurance Challenge 50 Mile Championships. I'm with women's second place finisher, Magdalena Boulet.
Hi,
Hi! How are you?
I'm great. Today was a good day for me.
You just ran 100 miles a couple months ago, and now today was a fast 50 miler. Talk about polar opposites.
Right. It took me probably 25 miles to warm up.
It was like a 100 miler.
Right. It felt like the pace was a little bit faster for what my legs were able to handle for the
Okay.
first part. So it was a little bit outside of my comfort zone. But then by mile 25, once we got to Stinson, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good now. I'm warmed up.
Let's roll.
I remember this.
Oh yeah, I have to run fast.
Now we have to move.
So talk about a little bit about how the race played out. Early on in the dark, there were
Right.
some course changes this year.
Right. We missed out on a really scenic part of the course. We didn't do the Pirates Cove,
Uh-huh.
and that is one of my favorite parts in this race. But luckily for me, I get to come out here and run it as much as
Anytime you want.
as much as I want. So. I'm sorry to everyone who is out of town that you didn't get a chance to run that. But we had quite the sunrise this morning. It was spectacular. Even coming, we didn't go down Pirates Cove, but we stayed on the ridge and just overlooking the headlands was spectacular. And we stayed as a group. Megan was in there, and Ida was there. The three of us were running, and then a couple other women were pushing the pace all the way to Miwa, to the climb, and then down to Tennessee.
Okay. The second half of the race, it seemed to me, looking at you in the first half of the race, you were like, woo, woo, like a little bit like what's going on. But then in the second half of the race, it was like, oh, Magda's back. And you looked like you. Did you feel like you had your, I don't know, wheels on your, I don't know what the right way to say it was.
Right. No, I actually I did not. Coming into this race, I knew that I was a little bit undertrained. I took some time off, and I totally respected that. And but I also knew that I had the endurance behind me. At some of the big runs that I've done, starting with UTMB and then in between, I just didn't have the turnover. It's not something that I practiced leading up to this race, and I knew that. I was aware of it, so I was just kind of waiting when it would it would kick in. And really, like halfway through the race, I did feel like I was a little bit out of it for the first part. But then something clicked once we got to Stinson and we started to climb. And then going through Muir Woods, and once I got to Muir Beach, I started to feel really good. I ran that climb, which was probably the first time.
Really?
Even when I won it 2 years ago, I power hiked, and I literally took maybe 5 steps of power hiking up that hill. So that's a good sign.
That might tell you something about the leg strength development that you've achieved through something like UTMB.
Right? Yeah. It's a learning lesson. I think that if I do this double again,
oh really? Shall we talk about
UTMB and the North Face, I definitely need to just work on a little bit more turnover.
Okay. The women's podium race was so dynamic throughout the day.
Right.
Talk about that, because for the first half of the race you were kind of steady Eddie around third place, right? Mm-hmm. And then
I felt
happened after that.
Right. So I think once we passed Pinto, got on Matt Davis, and right at the turnaround, Ruth passed me.
Okay.
Or cut up to me.
Okay.
And then she put a nice gap on me. I think by the time we got to Stinson Beach, she had at least 90 seconds on me. And I think that remained between like a minute and 2 minutes all the way through Muir Woods.
Okay.
And I just kept, I ran with him myself. I wanted to make sure that I got to this finish line. I took a spill last year, and it was a very bittersweet DNF for me. Where I struggle. Do I just limp in and finish, or do I just walk away and and deal with it, the emotional part? So I really wanted to run with him myself, and it wasn't until we got out of Muir Woods that I caught up to her, and it wasn't until almost the bottom of the around Muir Beach that I caught up to Megan, and she was struggling with calf injury or just tightness.
Yeah. Okay.
So Megan and I always get coffee the morning after the race. So
what are you
we'll
going to
make
talk about tomorrow?
Oh, it's what we do every year. It's going to be our, I think, third year. And, we talk about the race a little bit, about how the year went. That's why I love the sport so much.
I think I know one of the questions she's going to ask you tomorrow, because when she came across the finish line today, she's like, I have enough points for CCC.
Right. And I think she's going to do great on that course.
Yeah. So the end of the race, you pass Ruth,
Right.
and come back into second place. By then, Ida had sort of created a bit of a gap in front
Right.
of you. Where was your mindset, like, let's say the last two climbs through,
Right.
out of Muir and out of Tennessee? Was it looking ahead, looking behind?
Right. I definitely ahead.
Okay.
I said it's 2 climbs. I had 4 minutes. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
I was in 4th place, and part of me, halfway through the race is, is top 5 as good as it's gonna get today? If that's what it is, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a long race, and anything can happen. And that last part from Muir Beach, they're big climbs.
Yeah.
And she was really strong. I never made up any ground. We kind of stayed, I think, about 4 minutes apart. So, and I felt like I was, making an effort of trying to catch, but she was definitely stronger today.
You have quite a relationship with this race. In your few years of ultra running, every single year you've come here.
I can't stay home. Most of my friends were on the sideline, and I was running, going, "That's so nice. Maybe I should come and cheer someone on." But I love to race.
Well, and that brings me to my next question. Everywhere I was today, people announced your presence, like 50 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters if they could see. I mean, you're becoming kind of a queen of the San Francisco Bay trail running community. There's so much vibrant energy for you wherever you go.
Oh, thank you. I like
Can
my
you
running
feel
community.
that? Can you
I
feel
could
it?
totally feel it. I give a lot of high fives today.
Did that slow you down
From
at all?
kids to grown-ups. No, I mean, that's why I love running ultra races, because that's what it's all about. It's a lot of fun.
My last question. It's December, the end of season for some, but it's now the beginning of your next year's season.
Right.
What's happening now?
So I feel like I came to this race a little bit undertrained, but it's setting me up really nicely for 2017.
Okay.
I feel good. Like, I walked away from the race, a little bit sore, but not as sore as maybe I have been in the past.
Okay.
Which is great.
That helps.
That helps. And Tarawera is my first race of 2017.
Go into the land down under.
I've never been to New Zealand.
Awesome.
Super excited. I know it's such a great race, and I've heard such wonderful reviews from all of the athletes. The race director is super nice as well, and it's a Hoka sponsored race this year. So yeah, it's gonna be a great.
And there's been talk about you also going back to UTMB next year. So is this going to be? Are you going to compete in the Ultra Trail World Tour, or what do you think?
Well, I think if it makes sense, I still have to figure out the rules
Got
because
it.
it has changed, but and how you score points
Yeah.
is the annual versus the 3 years, and priority is on picking the races that I feel will suit me the best and provide an opportunity to challenge me.
Got it.
I like to do races that put me outside of my comfort zone. So
Okay.
that is always the priority, and then see how that fits into the series.
Got it.
But I know that Terrawera is on it, so is UTMB, and so is Western States. Does anyone know if I got in? I applied for the lottery.
I haven't looked at the Western
Okay.
States lottery. So did I get into the race or not?
Did I get in? Does anyone know?
Well, congratulations to you
Thank you,
on
Megan.
your second place finish today. And we'll see you in 2017.
Thank you.
Thanks.